Okay, we are going to do a social studies lesson today. You guys might be saying, what is that, right? Social studies is when you learn about important things that happen in our world, like famous people. And if we learn about being a good citizen, we learn the flag salute and what that means, what the words mean, all sorts of things, okay? It's called social studies. Today we're going to learn about somebody very important. Yesterday I showed you his picture and we put it on the calendar. And we put it on today's date, January 15th, because if this man was alive today, it would be his birthday and he would be 81, 82 years old. He would be the same age as my mother, 82 years old. Okay, but he is no longer with us. Okay, he died, and I will tell you that because we're going to read a book. His name is Martin Luther King Jr. Now, it seemed yesterday when I showed you his picture, not very many people knew who he was. A few people put their thumbs up. So I am going to read a book. In fact, I want to show you. I brought all my books home from school the other day. This is the one I'm going to read. This is what he looked like. I had some posters too that I couldn't find, but you know what? I don't really need the poster because that's such a good picture. That's a real photograph of him. Here's another picture of him. He is giving a speech in front of thousands of people in Washington, D.C. Here's a picture of him. There he is when he's a little boy. Here's another picture when he was a little boy. Okay, here's another little book, and then look at this beautiful book. This book is called I Have a Dream, and it's the whole speech that Martin Luther King Jr. Gave in front of thousands of people. Now, I wish I had time to read all of these, but I don't. So I kind of went through all of them, and I think this is probably the best one to read today. And then we're going to watch a little movie and listen to another little story on Zoom today. The whole class will do it, all right? But I wanted to read a book now because some of you guys are going to be starting to do your assignments, and I want you to know who he is, and then we'll talk more about it later. Okay, Martin Luther King Jr. Now I have to put my glasses on, okay? Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15th, 1929. Well, it is 2021 now, so that I got to go 30, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, yeah, 82 years old. Okay, he was born in Atlanta, Georgia. He was not from California. He was born in another state. Here he is as a baby. Isn't he cute? There's his mommy. There's his daddy. He lived with his parents. He had an older sister and a younger brother. So here's Martin. Okay, here is his older sister and his younger brother. Martin's father was a minister. A minister is somebody who gives the sermons in church. Some people go to church in the Catholic Church. That's called a priest. When I went to church when I was little, we called our minister a pastor. So those are all the same thing, right? Martin's father was a minister. Martin grew up listening to his father speak in church. The people at church liked the way Martin's father spoke. They sang and they clapped. So Martin's father's name, guess what his name was? It was Martin. It was Martin. So his daddy's name was Martin, and his name is Martin. That's why they call him Martin Luther Jr., okay? Junior means that you're the son, and senior means that you're the father. Martin knew the people in his church. He lived near them. He went to school with them. He saw them on the street. So see how he's waving to his neighbors here? Sometimes Martin went to the city with his family. He saw signs that said, whites only at the park and at the movies. Now, boys and girls, this was a long time ago. If he was born in 1929, I'm just going to guess 1940, okay? So a long, long time ago. This is before you were born, and this is before your mommy and daddy were born. This is even before I was born, okay? So, a long time ago. Now what? This is a movie theater, and there's a sign on it that says whites only. That means people with white skin. And you know what? Nobody really has white skin, so we could say peach skin, right? They could go to the movie theater. But if you had brown skin or black skin, you were not allowed. So a long time ago, people with black skin were not allowed to go to the movie theaters. The signs meant that Martin and his family could not go to those places. Martin felt that black people should be able to go to the same places as white people. Look at Martin and his sister. They're watching these children play soccer, okay, or kickball or something in the park, And there's a sign. Look at this, WHITE. It says whites only. Do you think that's fair, boys and girls? That if you have a different color of skin, then you can't play with those children? Absolutely not. That is not fair. When he was 6 years old, he had a friend who was white. They liked each other and they played together. So see how Martin's skin is brown? And this little boy has, well, I call it peach skin. Okay, so they used to play together, and then all of a sudden, the boy with the white skin, he had to say, hey, my mommy and daddy don't want me to play with you again. Now, boys and girls, I bet you live in the neighborhood and you have friends who have different colors of skin. Your mommy and daddy don't tell you that, do they? Because it doesn't matter what color your skin is, does it? I don't care. I have peach skin, but I have a lot of friends that have brown skin and black skin. Okay, but soon the boy's parents said that they did not want their son to play with Martin any longer. Martin felt very sad. He was sad that he had to stop playing with his friend. Look at the mommy. He's good. Hey, you guys can't play together anymore. That day, Martin's mother told him, you're just as good as anyone else, and don't you forget it. Martin felt better. He knew that the boy's parents did not really know him. If they had, they would have seen how nice and smart Martin was, right? So you know what, boys and girls? It doesn't matter what color of skin you have. It doesn't matter what color of car you drive. It doesn't matter what color of hair you drive. You don't judge people by what they look like. You judge people by what a good person they are, right? When he was 8 years old, Martin worked as a newspaper boy. He was very good at his job. That means he delivered papers to people's houses. Martin used the money he earned to buy books. He read about people who fought racism. Okay, now racism is saying that one person is better than someone else. Racism is the idea that people who are different colors are not equal. Martin thought that all people were equal. He wanted to fight racism too. Martin became a minister like his father. Now here he is all grown up. They kind of skip over his teenage years, don't they? Here he is all grown up and now he's a preacher or a minister. Martin gave speeches and talked about equality. He traveled to speak to church groups and to large crowds. He spoke to a crowd of 250,000 people in Washington, D.C. Remember that picture I showed you right there? There he is. Here he is giving his famous speech. There are 250,000 people in that crowd, and he's talking to them. He spoke about his dream for the future. I have a dream, Martin said, that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of the skin, but by the content of their character. That was his famous speech. Now, this book I showed you, this is probably for older kids, but it has the whole entire speech, Martin Luther King, telling that whole big crowd of people that you should not judge people by what they look like or what color of skin they have or how much money they have or the clothes they wear. You should judge people by their actions, okay? If people are good people, if they're smart, if they work hard, that's when we should, that's who we want to be our friends, right? We want good people to be our friends. Some people did not like what Martin was saying. Most people did. Martin helped to change the way people thought and acted toward one another. So you can see some people were angry, but then some people agreed with Martin. They said, yes, we want to include everyone. Today, many people remember his dream and try to make the world a better place for everyone. Okay, so what I want to do, I really don't think I have time to read another book, but like I said, we are going to talk about this on Zoom today. In the black folder that I sent home that used to have the Christmas things in it and the Halloween and the Thanksgiving, now you have things for January and February. That's where you're going to find the packet, okay? So when you get this packet, who do you see on the cover? Martin Luther King. It says happy birthday, and down here it says Martin Luther King, and you can trace that with a pencil or with crayon, I don't care. Okay, now I'm going to show you because I already have one done. Okay, I wanted to save time, so I have one already done. Now, this page has a little more information. It says Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15th, 1929. Dr. King was called ML when he was a child. It was a nickname because his daddy's name was Martin too. So they had a nickname for him. He was called ML. That's cute, isn't it? I like that. Draw a picture of Martin Luther playing in the front yard of his house, and I'll show you that. So you want to draw him as a little boy. Remember, he liked to play baseball, basketball, football. He liked all sports. So you could draw him playing with some friends in the neighborhood or all by himself, or riding his bike like we saw in the front of that other book. So draw a picture of Martin when he was a young boy. Okay? Now, when he was all grown up, guess what? That book didn't tell us this part, but this is really interesting. In 1964, now that was a long time ago too, but I was actually 4 years old. So I was born when Martin Luther King Jr. was still alive. In 1964, Dr. King was the second Black to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. He got a really big prize, boys and girls. The King of Norway gave him the medal and $54,000. Wow, that's a lot of money, right? You know what he could buy with that money? Sometimes when I ask the kids, they say, a house. Probably not a house, but he could buy a pretty nice car for that, huh? He could have spent the money on himself, but guess what? The King of Norway said that Dr. King had done the most for peace. Dr. King had used a peaceful way to bring about the change. Guess what he did? He gave the money to poor people. He gave it away to charity. He didn't even keep the money for himself. Okay, that's like winning the lottery and giving it all away. So he was a really good person. What he did was he wanted people to be peaceful. He didn't want people, he said people could protest, they could hold signs, and they could march against things that they didn't believe in, but he did not want people to get violent. He did not want people to fight. He did not want people to have guns, okay? So, and he gave lots of speeches all over the country to try to get people to come together and to love each other and take care of each other. So right here, this says Nobel Prize, and all you have to do is trace those words. He won a prize and he won money. Now, I'll show you what I did on my packet, okay? So what I did, now, Dr. King, Martin Luther King, had brown skin, right? Or you could say he was a black man, but his skin was brown, a dark brown. His hair is already black. And then you can color his suit, because there he is giving his important speech. And just because he was such an important person for America, I colored this red, white, and blue. Happy birthday. And then just trace this, Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, on this page, you're gonna draw a picture. Mine's not that good, but I drew a picture of him playing like football. There's a little goal post, or maybe he could be playing soccer or baseball, anything you want. But he's a little boy there, right? He's not a grown-up. You can color that too. Okay. And then on this one, you can color this. Oops, I guess I didn't color that. That's okay, I didn't have time. But he has brown skin, so did his wife, right? And you can color this. Now you could just take a picture of your favorite page. You can take a picture either of the first one or the picture of Martin Luther King when he was a boy. It's just a coloring packet today, and I hope you enjoy learning about Martin Luther King Jr., and we will learn a little bit more about him on Zoom today. Oh, and the reason I wanted to do this is, boys and girls, on Monday, we have the day off. We don't have school on Monday, and the reason why is it is a national holiday. That means you know, it's like Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving when people don't have to work because it's a holiday, because he was such an important man, right? So now you're going to know. On Monday, if you watch the TV, you might, on the news, you might hear people talking about Martin Luther King Jr. Oh, I forgot to tell you now, this book did not say how he died. He did die. He's not alive anymore. And I think maybe on Zoom in the other story, it might explain that too. Okay? All right. Bye-bye.